Is spirituality a mental gymnastic? Spirituality on a metaphysical level? Is spirituality practical or imaginary? Is spirituality useful in daily lives? One may have several of these kind of questions related to spirituality. Now, the moment we call a spirituality or spiritual, we have certain kind of idea that there has to be some miracle involved in spirituality. So taking that into account, several people, they show some miracle, they create some ash, they create some gold, they create some kind of things, and kind of attract people. So whoever is kind of doing such a thing, they attract normally the kind of people who are looking for such a thing. So if you are looking for a magic, a magician is a better person than a spiritual person. If you are looking for curing your health, a doctor would do a better job than that. If you are looking for a miracle or a magic every time in your life, that is not spirituality. There are magics, there are miracles happening in spirituality, but that is on a different level. We'll discuss about that. Spirituality cannot be called a mental gymnastic because the spirit soul experiences spiritual pleasure by practicing a spiritual activity. When someone practices a spiritual practice, spiritual activity, the experience they get, that is spiritual experience. Now, there are several types of these practices which somebody feels good. Now, feeling good can not be directly compared to a spiritual experience. Feeling good could be a healthy situation, feeling good could be on a mental level, feeling good can be on an intellectual or on an egoistic level also. If someone praises another person, glorifies, sings his good activities, he feels very good, he feels very nice. That is not a spiritual pleasure, that is not a spiritual experience. Spiritual experience can be obtained when someone is actually having a true connection with God through a certain practice of certain spiritual activities. Spirituality on a metaphysical level, if you say, so metaphysical is again something that comes in between spirituality and matter. Now, metaphysics or metaphysical concept can be explained through something that is higher than matter, but spiritual experience or spiritual realization is again much more beyond something called as metaphysical. Sometimes it can be referred to as metaphysical with respect to a level of understanding, but then there is a higher level of understanding of spirituality beyond metaphysical understanding. Spirituality is practical or imaginary. The moment we say imaginary, imaginary is on the mental platform. That means we imagine something, just like a young boy, when he is sitting idle, he may imagine something about his girlfriend and feel happy. One may imagine about eating good, nice food stuff. One may imagine to go to a very nice place. So one can be sitting in one place, but then imagining to be experiencing something by going or by thinking about something, that is a imaginary pleasure. That is something on a mental level. Spirituality is not imaginary, provided we are practicing actual spiritual activities. If we are practicing mental activities on a material platform, they are not spiritual activities, they are imaginary or on the mental level. However, there can be spiritual activities that can also be done by the mind, that can also be done on mental level, they are called spiritual. So spirituality is practical because we exist. We exist means we have a body, we have a mind, we have an intellect, we have ego, we have a soul. Now soul is a spiritual entity. Soul is not produced out of matter. Soul cannot be produced from matter. Soul has to be a part of a eternal spiritual entity whom we call God. So the soul is basically a part and parcel of God and is encased within this material body, experiencing pain and pleasure at different times. So is spirituality useful in daily lives? Definitely yes. Again I say, provided we practice the real spiritual activities. Again, if we are practicing something on imaginary level, on mental level, or on some concocted ideas, we may not actually experience the spiritual pleasure. So spiritual activities has to be done to experience the real spiritual nature of our soul. It may take some time, but once we intellectually understand the existence of the soul, the existence of God, the relationship between soul and God, then we further try to understand what is the activity that is required to be done to establish a relationship between the soul and God, to experience the spiritual pleasure on a spiritual plane. So if you check below the previous videos, I am talking about, does God exist, does the soul exist, is there any relationship between soul and God, what is that relationship between soul and God, how do we revive that relationship between soul and God, whether soul is spiritual in nature or soul can be created from something, whether God existed before or God came into existence. So all these things you can check through this my YouTube channel. So in essence, spirituality is not mental gymnastic. Spirituality can be called something superior to on a metaphysical level. Spirituality is practical, it is not imaginary, and spirituality is tangibly useful in our daily lives. So I request, please click the link below and join my Facebook group, and you can please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can get more information on this line. I'm going to release a series of videos, a much informative nature, and many people have doubts of this type, and all these information are available in the Bhagavad Gita and our Vedic scriptures, and from that authority, from the authority of Bhagavad Gita, I am presenting all these things to you. Please accept this knowledge with your true heart, and please try to inculcate this information and try to understand, try to put some time and understand this particular information. This is very, very valuable for our own present and future lives. Whatever is done, but we have a future in front of us, and the choices we make today can change the future of ours. Yeah, thank you very much. Bye bye.